This is the Broad Street Review podcast. I'm your host, Darnell Radford, and I'm here with my trusty travel producer, Woodsy. We are in Edinburgh, Scotland, for the Edinburgh Festival Fringe. I can't wait to dig into this crazy thick Fringe guidebook featuring over 3,800 productions and events. So stay with us. Here and on Rep Radio podcast, for August, it's all Edinburgh Festival Fringe. Did you know that artists come from around the world and even our hometown of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to entertain, engage, and inspire cultural enthusiasts from all over the globe? I'm going to catch up with performers and attendees that made it over the pond. Maybe we'll recognize a few voices along the way. So stay tuned. Broad Street Review podcast is here at Edinburgh Festival Fringe. Welcome to Rep Radio. I'm your host, Darnell Radford. Today on the podcast, we meet with the cast of XOXO Moongirl. That's Almanac Dance Circus Theatre from Philadelphia. You know them, Philadelphians. They are making their Edinburgh Festival Fringe debut with this production, and I got a chance to sit down with them at the very noisy assembly checkpoint. Here's my interview with Nicole Burgio and Melanie Sue of XOXO Moongirl. Welcome to Rep Radio. I'm your host, Darnell Radford, and today I am still in Edinburgh, Scotland for the Edinburgh Festival Fringe 2019. Right now we are at Assembly Checkpoint, which is just below the Assembly Theatre, where Almanac Dance Circus Theatre just performed XOXO Moongirl in their international debut. So congratulations.
Thank you.
And so I've got two wonderful ladies here with me, and I'll have them introduce themselves.
My name is Nicole Burgio, and I'm the co-creator and performer of XOXO Moongirl.
My name is Mel Sue. I am the musician, and I get to do some fun new. I get to push our phone out.
Nicole, welcome back to Rep Radio.
Thank you.
Mel, welcome to Rep Radio.
Thank you.
So congratulations, you made it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, I can't even say that yet because we're not even halfway through.
Yeah.
And this Edinburgh Fringe is insanity.
Yes.
It's craziness, and art is war.
Art is what?
War.
War, yes. Well, everybody's got a crazy hustle going on. And so everyone I talk to has pretty much had the same sort of, here's what's exciting, here's, sort of the grievance, if they have one. But in general, just being here is overwhelming just for an attendee of the festival, let alone being a performer, participant, producer, publicity, rigger, overhire, carpenters, like everybody who makes up this festival, who makes it a success for this whole month. So it's just wonderful. But it's so great to have so many Philadelphia artists here. And it's great to have Almanac Dance Circus Theatre here.
Yes, Philadelphia is definitely well represented.
Yes.
And that feels really good. To
Yes.
come from a city that, is making art, is pushing themselves, is going internationally and trying to play on the international stage.
Yes.
That just is incredible to me.
So we had a chat at the first presentation of XOXO Moongirl.
Yeah.
But I thought it'd be interesting to sort of revisit
Sure.
and kind of talk about its journey.
Yes.
Because you did get a full mounting in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
And then you got a chance to tour with it.
Yeah.
So actually, this isn't your international debut.
No, this is my second country
Yes.
that XO has gone to.
So you went to Mexico.
Went to Mexico.
Yes.
Did the show in Spanish, which was logo. Crazy. And and now I'm here in Edinburgh. And it's just as crazy as doing the show in Spanish for a non-native Spanish speaker being here.
So, before we get into the festival's specifics, tell us a little bit about the Mexico experience.
Yeah. Well, it was challenging because I was actually there to direct and lead a ensemble-driven show. So I was working at one of the largest circus schools in Mexico City. So Mexico experience was tough because I was working at the circus school directing an ensemble show, and then we were like, well, we should also take this opportunity to do XOXO Moongirl, to see what it's like to do it in front of an international audience, to step up to the challenge of doing it in another language, and for the curiosity of what that would show, what that would bring out, and doing it in another language to learn the little secrets in the show that we don't even know about yet. But I didn't have Mel, and
You almost had Mel.
I almost had Mel, but we didn't. And that really showed to me how much the music makes the show live. Without the live music, it felt just not our show. It has become our show. Yeah.
Definitely so. I told you the other day that you're just wonderful. What you bring to your contribution to Almanac is just wonderful. It's like Almanac lays such a strong foundation, and then just adding these musical elements to it just takes it to a totally different level. And so I hope you feel that. I'm sure you feel that, because it was just wonderful, and it was wonderful tonight as well.
Thank you so much. I remember the first time I ever auditioned with Almanac, and it was like the chemistry and the sparks right away. Where I don't know if you were there. I don't think you were there.
I wasn't, but I heard.
But I remember that feeling of really feeling the space to try things on and take risks creatively, but also have enough direction. And I remember that day just feeling so electrified of how all of our brains and creative energies aligned and really like lifted each other up. And I am so excited and grateful to be on this journey with Almanac. The last couple of years, it's been amazing to grow alongside them too.
I'm always interested to see how the musical elements are added to a piece like this, because it's sort of like a chicken or the egg thing. It's like, were these individual pieces that you were playing with, for other things, or were you feeling all of this from the elements of XOXO Moongirl?
I remember y'all had a couple of rehearsals before I entered the room.
Yeah.
And would show things in their nascent stages.
Right.
And we would jam out together in a room. And I love that Ben and Cole we would say, okay, let's try it 3 different ways. Even if one of them we'll never, ever, ever use. And with each trial and error, we would take the things that we enjoyed and wanted to learn from. And I think I would say we built it together.
Totally.
We really did it together.
Yeah, side by side. What was the one song that? What was that?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Cole would be. I think it was like doing handstands or something, and we were trying to figure out like different instrument arrangements. And Ben said like, do an arrangement that you'll never use. And I remember just in song expressing everything I was seeing in front of me. So I was like, right now Cole takes a little pause, and she looks like she's thinking about something hard. And then we're not gonna leave much room for the audience to decipher for themselves what this show's about. And we were like, wow, that was really liberating to like do the thing we'll never use.
Yeah. My favorite song that Melanie composed is the last song, or not the last song, the second to last song called Lorraine. And if you're a smart audience member, you'll start to tune into what she's saying, and that really gives the history of how my dad grew up. Because the show deals with domestic violence of my dad being aggressive and violent towards my mom, but we never really shed light on what has happened to my dad. And that's just simply to say that we're all complex. There's always another side to a story, even in this case, and so my father growing up in a really abusive home and what his mother Lorraine did to him and what he learned is sung, and that's the way the audience gets to learn about my father.
And inherited trauma. And like what's been so powerful is watching you actually reckon with that through this whole process, physically, like night after night after night, of like what it means to have inherited that trauma.
Yeah.
In ways that you might not be able to actually name, but it's so embodied.
Yeah, and like having these kind of talks reminds me, like Ben, our director, is always Ben Grinberg. He's always saying like, go back to the source material, and like that. You even reminding me like that. I'm like, oh yeah, like that's what that moment is about. Again, it's like, yeah, inherited trauma, and wow, well, what is that like for my dad? But doing the show so much now, we just did 12 shows in Philadelphia, we took it to Mexico, and now we're here doing a 25 show run. Like, yes, you forget that it's not just like, okay, this part, but like, these are real people, this is my family, it's my mom. Last night I just talked to my mom, and she was reading the reviews, and she feels really strange about it, and it's my job to do this show out of love and to make sure it's done well every night. And that feels stressful. It feels challenging. I'm up for it, but I'm also just, when I don't do the strongest show, I feel really bad because I just feel like it's my job to represent these people,
So, talking to many of the artists, there's been a little bit of tweaking that's had to be done for time, and there have been some things added and taken away for street performances and so on, and how much of the piece has been adjusted for Edinburgh as opposed to Mexico and the Philadelphia performances.
Well, we spent a lot of time deciding what was going to be cut. We didn't want to cut anything. It's become such a love of all of ours. Yeah. But we really didn't cut anything hard. I've just been reminded almost every day, Nicole, you can't just like improv your way through the show. You have to say the script.
Yeah.
That's why we wrote the script. And I'll be like, oh yeah. And then I'll drift away from the script, and then I'll just get reminded tomorrow. So basically I've just been told to stick to my script.
Yeah.
So that we come in time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But most of the prep work so that we don't override our show is done like with our stage manager, Kate Hanley. She's the one who's making sure that when we come in, everything is set in place. Everything, it's go. When we leave, we clean up and we're out of there. 10-minute setup, 10-minute cleanup, done, out, bye. That's intense.
Yes.
We've gotten really good at our load in, load out. We have a lot of help. We have a lot of help. Shout out to
some sparkling water.
We're getting drinks.
Because
go get yourself a drink. We'll be right back.
Lemon ginger tea.
Thank you.
Just take care for it.
No.
Quickly. Thank you. Anyone else like me drink?
I'd like some water and an old fashioned, please.
It feels really important to shout out all the people too that have been part of this process that have gotten us here, especially the XOXO Entertainment Arts Management Program. They are like really supporting us through this with loading in, loading out, sound, flyering, helping us with promo. It's just, yeah, there are a lot of people who have helped us get here.
And then back in Philly, you've got all of Almanac, right? So you've got all of Almanac back in Philly, who did a lot of support previous to coming to Edinburgh with fundraising and with the shows and with props and things, right? I mean, you did. Totally. Yeah.
And Cole keeps saying it's not actually a solo show, and I think if you really look at all the names and all the people, it truly is not a solo show.
It's a family. It's a village, absolutely. Yes. I mean, I don't feel alone in this whole process. I don't feel alone on stage, you know, like, yes, there are moments where, like, something goes terribly wrong on stage. I'm thinking of something in particular the other night, and I feel a little alone, like, oh God, I am the one who has to get me out of this. But other than that, I have an enormous family supporting me, and it couldn't be done any other way, particularly because of this show. This show is tough. It's tough to say every night. It's about domestic violence, but more than that, it's about understanding that people are complex, life is messy, and that I want to move on. I want to understand healing and moving on and still loving life and adventure and art and celebrating these things. Yeah.
There's your Royal Mile pitch.
Yeah.
Life is messy.
Yeah.
Let's go to the moon.
Yes, totally. Yes. Thank you for that.
I got a PR career in my future.
Yes, you do.
So what have been some of the responses here in Edinburgh? Because that one young lady at the end of the show, the way she feels, the way she felt is the way I felt the first time, and it's the way I felt tonight.
Yeah.
So talk about some of the responses and how people have resonated with this piece here.
We've gotten a lot of different responses. The show last night was incredible. I think it really spoke to a lot of people, and sometimes, yeah, we get some tears when I go up to ask them how they were feeling or what they're normally they're saying that they're tears of happiness, like they enjoy the show, and it just like triggers something maybe from their own life or whatever it might be. Some people just find it really beautiful. Other people walk out because they're bored, I think. Or they're expecting to see, here's the thing. Contemporary circus is, I think, still new in a sense, and not everyone understands how to digest it. Yeah. So when you say it's a circus show, people think like it's a spectacle, it's cabaret, it's light or funny or sexy, but we're using contemporary circus to talk about something intense, something real, something dark. We took a scary story, we made it beautiful, but to some people that's not what they thought. Yeah. You know? Now, yes, we are getting great reviews. We've had 5-star reviews, and we have lovely supporting audiences, but I think it's challenging to some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are moments of circus arts that can be silly, but not necessarily clowning.
Yeah.
And you're right. It is, you know, when you think circus, you think clowning.
Yeah.
But that's it's sort of like a subset of circus arts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have traditional circus, you have Cirque du Soleil, you have contemporary circus, like, you know, and now we're in this space, especially Almanac, where we really try to fuse many genres of circus, physical theater, clown, music, spoken word, poetry, whatever it is, you know?
And I think what's interesting, Cole and I have been talking a lot about finding our own barometers of feeling like we have connected or landed with the audience, and I think especially, correct me if I'm wrong, in circus often it's like the sound of applause or laughter is like how you gauge whether or not the audience is there, but something really challenging and beautiful is that I think sometimes silence for us actually means people are truly listening and letting themselves process at the rate they need to process. And that we're just relearning that together.
Yeah.
Like letting silence be loud and powerful, be a powerful measure of whether something is landing.
Yes.
So, what does your day look like? How do you prepare for this performance, which is physically draining?
Yeah.
It looks physically draining. There is some emotional exercise going on there as well.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about the self-care that prepares you for this performance every night.
Yeah. Well, people are always shocked to hear that, like, when I'm doing the handstands or the trapeze or the tissue, that's like my break. Like, because that's my home. I'm a trained gymnast and I'm a circus artist. So I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't have to talk. Thank God I don't have to talk right now. Like, it's Ben, who has been my guide through a lot of the physical theater and the emotional content. It's like I have to stay true to the source material. I have to stay present. It's not phoning it in. There's nothing phony about it. It's living in that moment, So that's exhausting.
Yeah.
That's like incredibly exhausting. I can do my trapeze act and not emote emotion. I can just do it physically. But the rest, it can't be done like that. So I here in Edinburgh, I do warm up physically. I found a gym, like a lifting gym.
Yeah.
I stretch, I do my handstands. It's a little weird. Everyone's like kind of staring at me, but that's okay. And then I walk home, I make myself some lunch, I take a shower, I listen to a lot of blues, and and I right before I go on stage, I free write. Just like allow myself to write whatever is in my head, but I always end with writing, always performing with love. And that's the last thing I write, and then I go on stage.
Nice.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't realize that is sort of an amenity of being a participant of the Fringe is that you get a discount at the university gym.
Oh!
Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yes. So there's a ton of resources that we get.
Gym. Too fancy, actually.
Well, it's a business expense.
Yeah.
You write it off.
Yeah,
it's fine.
For sure. Yeah.
So I'm interested to know how a street performance of XOXO Moongirl goes.
Well, we are too, because the first one was today and it got rained out, so we don't know. So it will be interesting. I think we have ideas of like doing our handstands, a little bit of magic, and maybe a little bit of like a sillier excerpt, like when Moongirl meets the alien and has the talk. I think we would do something like that, and Melanie would accompany with cello and vocals, I believe. Yeah. That's part of the whole game of Ed Fringe is like, if any artists are thinking about coming, please talk to other artists who have been here already. Like, we have learned so much about what you have to do to flyer, and what works, what doesn't work, what you're allowed to do, what you're not allowed to do, what the heck a street performance is, what busking is versus flyering. Like, it's a whole new world.
Can you pinpoint one thing that sort of like surprised you that you didn't really know about the Edinburgh Festival Fringe experience that you know now?
Yeah, I have an answer. I would also like to hear what Melanie says. For me, it was, I always thought, I'm used to the Philadelphia Fringe where you see a lot of experimental art and some companies, smaller companies taking risk and really just putting themselves out there. This is Edinburgh Fringe is really a place for everyone. So you have a smaller company like Almanac Dance Circus Theatre coming for the first time, putting out this like genre bending, little kind of not strange, but a little avant-garde art out there. Next to, I'm like sandwiched in between two very big acts who have been doing this for 10 years, and one of them is like really cruise ships and like the ta-da factor. Another is a big cabaret star, like, so it's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
It's not just the smaller companies, you know, it's everyone.
So you get their email addresses, and then you start following them to the next show that they go to.
Yes, for sure.
Can I get a slot in there?
Can you help me? Melanie, what about you?
Do you have room for silks?
Yes.
What's been surprising?
Yeah.
I would say maybe not so much of a surprise, but I could like intellectualize this before I got here, but then viscerally had to reckon once we arrived. Is really, really having to check in with our own compasses and barometers of what is successful. And Cole and I have had so many of these conversations because it's such an inundation. And there's so many people who are, some of them are doing a marathon, some of them are doing short sprints, and like some of them have like large teams flyering and having these like large posters and we're like a small budget and trying to figure out how to get the attention of people. And I think the biggest thing has been really, really taking the time to figure out what is meaningful for me and what lights me up and what keeps me grounded, and really not swaying from that. Because I think the moment I start getting caught up in numbers, and I totally get that like financials have to meet the bottom line, and I totally get it. But I think especially right before performance, I cannot be thinking about numbers.
Yeah.
Because I need to be thinking about what are the ways in which I want to connect with the audience that remind me why I'm here. So the surprise has been that I did feel a little wobbly for a while, and I really like it took me a couple of days to like have to. Kate and I have this hill in the back of our apartment that I need to climb and like see all of these beautiful mountains and zoom out to remember like I'm not here to. We joke about like winning the Fringe. I'm not actually here to win the Fringe. And so I think it's been a really powerful process to feel pushed a little bit and have to find my way back to my center.
Yeah. I think what's interesting about the festival, and you touched on it, is that there are artists that have been here for years, and they've been bringing that same show, and they keep tooling it and making it great. And it can be a little daunting if you're bringing your show here for the first time and you're playing to a house of two, which is the norm.
No way.
Yes. I mean, too many artists said that you'll be lucky as an average to have two people in your audience.
My heart is pounding. Yeah.
So one thing I've noticed already is that earlier in the week, it might be light. You might get more on the week. You'll get more on the weekends.
We've been quite lucky. We've been pulling a nice audience every night. Mm-hmm. I have also heard artists saying, "Yeah, we perform for two."
I think the venue helps too.
Yeah, we have a lovely venue, and we worked our asses off.
Yeah.
We worked our asses off, and something that Mel and I continuously say is, yes, we could be out there flying till we like are exhausted, or we could go and put on a good show and know that the show has substance and people are smart and the word of mouth will be our best friend.
Yeah.
You know, and I really just resonate with Mel when she's like, I felt really wobbly. It's taken me a long time. It's taken me like 9 days or however long we've been here to really to really get that wobbly feeling.
Yeah.
Really, it shakes you. You have to know who you are in many capacities to feel okay.
Yeah.
You know, luckily tonight we had an audience of, 20 or 30, but we woke up to 2 ticket sales, you know, and you don't want that to shake you.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think it's letting ourselves be inspired by the incredible artists around us instead of competitive or intimidated. It's like when I see, for me it's musicians, it's like when I hear incredible musicians on the street in shows, I could feel like I'm nothing, or I could be like, wow, how much of a privilege and honor is it to be in this ecosystem and orbit with these people, and how do I take their energy and feel inspired into the show tonight?
That's awesome. And that's a great way to think about it too. And the thing that I've noticed is every artist I've spoke to has told me about several other shows that are worth seeing.
Yeah.
So even though this is the first week, have you had the opportunity to take in any productions?
Yes. I think Kate might have seen the most. And she's probably the best person to ask.
Yes.
You want to give some?
So well, first and foremost, I would recommend Backbone by Gravity and Other Myths, which is absolutely stunning acrobatic theater. Also, on a smaller scale, also acrobatic would be Not. It's by Nikki and JD. They use acrobatics to sort of navigate their relationship. It's stunning. Raven also uses circus artists to explore that tug of war between being a mother and being a professional artist, which is, I think a lot of people struggle when they decide to have children. We should talk about Untitled.
Yes. Also, we haven't officially introduced Kate. This is Kate Hanley, our Rockstar stage manager.
Hello.
Shows that have really moved me, definitely Backbone. Kate and I went to go see Untitled Project number 213, another Philly show last night. And I left weeping. Kate was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I was like, "No, not." I think that grief and healing, especially healing being non-linear, especially healing taking years and years and years and years and years, is such a hard topic to explore, and something. The content of XOXO Moongirl is personal for a lot of different reasons, but I think in order to get through the show, I have to detach a little bit.
Yeah.
But I wasn't ready for Untitled Project number 213, and something just hit me, and I am so appreciative of art that doesn't let us hide in the waves of the hard things that our body is needing to process and to release. So I am so grateful to Untitled Project. They are amazing.
I sat center stage for Untitled Project number 213, and I did experience it in Philadelphia, but sitting there in that space, I felt all that emotion.
Yeah.
The first time I was processing it like an insider. Like I'm getting a sense of the beats, and I'm saying like, oh, this is a well-crafted piece. And I walked out feeling like that. But this time I like gave myself to the piece, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God. And I started crying as well. Oh, the last three scenes are just so beautiful.
Oh, don't tell me, I can't wait to see it.
Okay, we won't ruin it. I also really, really want to shout out the Indigenous contemporary scene. Really important work that is, lights.
We're turning down the mood lighting for us.
That has been curated by Indigenous folks from Canada, who are centering and uplifting the Indigenous artists and perspectives. And I think especially in Edinburgh, where we're sitting on such a complicated history, and especially since land acknowledgements are not common, I believe, in theater here, for folks to be centering the land and all of the layers of colonization that we are building this art upon. And so I really appreciate the way in which their quiet wisdom of this festival, but especially as people I was just thinking about all the flyers that are getting rained on, and who's cleaning them up, and like who are the people who live here that we are like totally imposing on for a month, and whose economies are we impacting, and then like what are the layers way beneath those people who live here that we are pushing out. And so I really just want to honor and uplift the Indigenous Contemporary Series, and they are a strong, quiet voice.
Thank you so much, the City of Edinburgh, for welcoming all of these artists and performers and everyone around the festival to come here and share this work with your beautiful city also fighting for our attention as well. Because there are so many tourists going into neighborhoods, just aiming down streets, taking photos, like just being so moved by how gothic and beautiful everything is, and you know, if you're on the right street, you can see all the way down to the water, to the harbor, and you're like, what? There's an island over there? There's a huge barge over there? Like, where are we?
Yes.
This is so wonderful.
So it feels so important to acknowledge the land that we're on and the people who live here, and not take for granted or feel entitled to this space as ours. Totally.
Yes. What I've been asking everyone this. What do you think would be a valuable resource for you or for Almanac altogether that would make it easier for artists to participate in this festival?
Resource, rehearsal space.
Think about all of the resources you have, and think about if there was something like, you know, if we had this, or something unique that you already do have that you didn't think you did, like the Drexel students and so on.
Are you saying the resources we have to get here or to survive here?
Both. Like, if you're coming back next year, what resource would you want to make sure you definitely have to succeed here as an artist? Money is a given.
Money is always, that's why, money, you know, financial support is always great. It goes far. It goes really far. But also a promoter, you know, somebody whose job it is to get the word out there.
Okay, so that's 5 for marketing and publicity. I hope all of my marketing contacts are listening. We need marketers. We need somebody to come here and own Edinburgh on behalf of Philadelphia artists.
Yes, we're lost.
Been invited.
I mean, it's all about getting the name out there, getting people interested. Now, you have to, I believe, have a good product, a good show, something you're proud of.
Yes.
And then we need someone to help me get it out there.
Yes.
Us get it out there.
People who I think align with our values.
Yes.
Because we're not willing to lose the integrity of this piece in order to like win. I don't know.
Yes, for sure.
To like get lots and lots and lots of press, but I don't want to lose the integrity of this piece ever.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't want someone to be like, I need you to wear these hats. You want to sell the show, you put on these hats.
Yeah.
That's not gonna...
Right.
Or to like, I don't know, sell our bodies, like wear less clothes, and it's like, no, actually, that's not how we're gonna sell this show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Unless it feels good to us and we've chosen it.
Right.
You know?
And so promoters, people who understand how to get the show out there would be very helpful.
Yeah. So, at the end of performances, do you have sort of like not a post-mortem, but do you like unpack and kind of assess what worked, what didn't work, and prep for the next day?
We are in trial and error. We were doing some things that were like felt very overwhelming to me because of like shifts and changes and like getting the feedback right away after doing a show that is so personal and so now so we figured out that the director Ben will type normally the notes that he normally sits in the audience and he types notes. And then he sends it to us, and then in the morning we take a break from it. In the morning we read it, go over it if we have any questions, and that's kind of what we've been doing.
It's been really nice to hang out as a team and do things that are not related to the show, like see other shows, walk home. We had a beautiful half an hour walk home.
We always
like,
walk home.
hang out.
Last night, Mel and I, we were supposed to go home and do work, but we ended up finding this like the cheesiest little, cutest little dance party. It was like a bunch of like 60-year-old women bopping around in a garden, and we just joined for like 30 minutes and danced our asses off, and it was amazing.
It was not last night, but a couple of nights ago. If you're walking down Princess Street in the garden, Florence and the Machine was playing.
Whoa.
Florence and the Machine. There's a whole summer session of concerts. I don't know if it's the entire month of August, but they're down in that spot that's all blocked
No way.
off.
I saw a billboard that said it was sold out, so I didn't look into it further, but that makes me think.
Yeah, so some of them might be, but maybe the ones that are next week might have some tickets.
That's
But
incredible.
yeah, I thought that was amazing, and to just be able to walk by and be like, "Is that Florence and the Machine?" I think it's Florence and the Machine.
Wow.
Yes, great.
Yeah.
All right. So yes, XOXO Moongirl here at Edinburgh Festival Fringe. Anything else you want to add about the piece? Anything you want to say? As we sign off here and get something to eat and kind of unpack from this amazing performance that we just had.
Well, for me, I'm just constantly grateful. I feel like the luckiest girl to get to share my story, and this is the way I chose to heal. And for people to sit there and listen and be there with me means the world to me. And particularly with Mel, Mel has her own story, and she chose to support me with mine. And I think whether we decided or not, you and I kind of ended up in this journey together. And I feel like we both said, "Okay, I'm on your team," And I really appreciate you, and I'm excited for this together. Yeah,
I would second that. I got this beautiful piece of feedback yesterday, or 2 days ago, from someone that said that watching this piece, they could feel Nicole actively healing in her body with each movement and gesture, and like feeling like she's reckoning. And it's been really humbling. She said afterwards, "I can feel you doing the same with your voice." And it felt so huge to never have to actually be able to speak my story, but for the audience to pick up on that and to know. And I would say it's been so powerful and humbling to have this space to reckon and heal and grieve and feel anger and power and like utmost light with this team, with Kate, with Cole, with Ben, this whole team. So I'm so grateful, and
That's why the other day I gave you nothing but praise, because you can tell that you are living this music and you feel it. There are just things you're doing with your voice where like there's a moment where you even feel like as drained as you are, as Nicole is in her moment in there too, and you feel it and you're just
that means a lot. I mean,
Yes.
we don't hide from what arises for us.
Yeah.
which is hard.
It's hard.
Today I was tired. I was really tired today, and I was like, I can't even hide it.
Yeah.
We couldn't see it. We could not see it at all.
And it's powerful to have people to bear witness
Yeah.
to that.
Yes.
So
Something about that.
I thank the audience for bearing witness to everything we experience.
Yeah. Well, I thank you all for taking the time to come chat with me. I know
You're wonderful.
this is such a involved and emotionally draining performance, and taking a moment to just kind of share that with us and our listeners, I really do appreciate that. So thank you, Nicole, Burgio, Melanie, Sue, and Kate Hanley. Thank you so much for taking the time to come chat and unpack XOXO Moongirl here at Edinburgh Festival Fringe. If you are not here yet, find some cheap flight, get over here, come see this, buy some tickets, go to the website, make a contribution. You know, if you are here, buy 2 tickets because theater is more fun with a +1. It always is, and you definitely have to do that. So thank you all so much for taking the time to share this with us, and we'll let you unpack and relax.
So much, Darnell.
Truly a
Appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank you.
I think I do need to eat.
Head on over to our website at www.broadstreetreview.com and click Get Involved at the top. While you're there, help keep us running and click Contribute to find out how. Connect with us on social media on Facebook and Twitter at Broad Street Review. Thank you for helping to keep the conversation going.